today. It's a tremendous amount of information. It's been fantastic, especially over the last 10 years. I'll hand this off to Rick and Mike.
All right. Well, first, I would agree. I think it's been a great 3-day celebration of the accomplishments of the consortium and of everyone who participates in the consortium, the PIs, more importantly, the teams who do the work while we sit around talking about the work, and the all the support we've had from the NIH and so on. So a great celebration. Wish we could have been in person. So thanks to all of our presenters, PIs, members of your teams and so on who presented. Thanks to the moderators who kept us more or less on time. And I would say on behalf of M3C, all of our team at UF, thanks to the consortium center teams, the NIH teams for all of their support, and also to the members of the EPC for their guidance along the way. And they've been listening in, and they're going to talk about us after we get done talking today anyway. So thanks to all of you. I think it's been a fascinating 4 years, and I'm sure during the no cost extensions that most everybody will probably have over the next 6 months or a year, we'll still have other opportunities to interact and to share good science. Mike, anything you'd like to add?
Just a remarkable advance in the science over the 4 years that I've been involved. Incredible. Yep, we'll be involved in the no cost extension. Whatever the consortium needs, we'll be here. If you all want to meet, we'll meet. And if you all want to meet on Zoom, we'll do that too. So whatever it takes to keep the collaborations going. It's a beautiful work.
Art, NIH team, anything you guys want to add before we wrap up for the day?
No, I mean, it's just been a pleasure. This has been a great consortium, and then the Metabolomics Consortium Fund over the years has been great. I don't know who else is on here from NIH, if someone else wants to say anything, or.
I just have a very curious question. What is the role of industry, especially the pharmaceutical industry, Merck, Glasgow, any of these pharmaceutical industries? Is there anybody collaborated with the pharmaceutical industry? Does NIH consortium allows the collaboration of the pharmaceutical industry?
We do have projects where they're like directly involved, things like AMP and stuff like that. So they don't normally apply for grants and stuff like that. There's no reason why they can't be involved with grantees and stuff. It's just that they don't, they have a little different business model, and so we don't, they're usually farther down the pipeline, and so we don't see a whole lot of direct interaction, but a little bit more now we're seeing from certainly in genomics, like with AMP. I don't know if Doug might know more about pharmaceutical interactions or anything, or.
Well, they take a lot of forms, obviously. There are CRADAs that any of you who are at a government lab of any kind will be familiar with, that are generally involved in a specific project and are often directed at development of a particular therapeutic. And then there are partnerships, for example, like NCATS has with folks to do screening on rare disease targets and things of that sort, redeploying libraries, and there are a variety of different types of collaboration. So it's certainly an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I guess you could look at Moderna and NIH. I mean, that's a good example of a pharmaceutical company interaction, but they do occur, and certainly in the translational aspects, and I know obviously pharma uses mass spectrometry and stuff quite a bit. Certainly, they use genomics and all that kind of stuff. Certainly in toxicology and various things, preclinical. The FDA has a program too.
At NCI, we have Division of Cancer Treatment and Diagnosis. So that usually for diagnosis, sometime potential drugs will come for screening or trials. So in clinical trials, they are involved.
I will comment from the coordinating side that up at the beginning when we identified, stakeholders in what we were doing for this 4 years. Pharmaceutical companies were clearly one of the identified stakeholders, using an awful lot of the tools that we developed, and you know, obviously one of the outcomes of better methods to identify unknowns and to do better metabolomics is improved drug development and discovery.
Yeah, I'm thinking with like certainly computational metabolomics, computational chemistry, and trying to figure this out in silico. I think there's a huge opportunity, not just with health research, but the chemistry goes way beyond just health research, you know, in the agriculture and material science and all this kinds of stuff. So, I mean, it seems to me that there's lots of industrial potential in some of these methods, especially trying to do in silico so that you can figure out what you have a lot faster. I mean,
also forensics applications and environmental research.
Do we have, as a group, do we have any sense of adoption by industry, by pharma or by other industries? Do we have a sense of utilization of our resources that you've developed by folks who are working in industry? Have you seen citations from industry scientists who are publishing using the methods that you developed, or who are taking advantage of those resources?
I would say not yet. And maybe part of that is we've been on the bleeding edge with this program, and industry's catering to folks that, you know, want things that are shown to work all the time, every time. And at least with the predictive tools, I'm not sure we're there yet.
Yeah.
I can tell you from Metabolomics Workbench, I've heard from large number of colleagues and friends in industry that they use it quite routinely. We have no restrictions on their using it, so therefore they use it quite routinely for research purposes.
We've run metabolomics symposium stuff at UF as part of all of this, and we certainly had an awful lot of participation from folks from industry, including from pharmaceutical companies. So I think there's certainly an awful lot of awareness there.
what about agriculture too? I maybe, I don't know if Oliver is on here, but I know that UC Davis does quite a bit of agriculture there stuff, and I certainly know that Australia and Japan, I mean, they have a huge agricultural metabolomics type stuff. So I you know, making better wines, trying to make better crops, things like that.
You know, while I've got everybody here, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank you all for sending me slides for the ASMS meeting. I'm terrified of having to say anything about your work in front of any of you. So if you come to the Metabolomics workshop on Wednesday, please.
Sit in the back.
I'm sorry?
Sit in the back. Sit in the front row.
Yeah. I'll just say I appreciate you sending stuff, and I'll do my best to represent you well. It's been helpful to be able to sit here over the last 3 days and hear your talks while I look at the summary slide that you sent. So we'll see how that works out.
Well, we appreciate your spreading the word about what we've been doing at ASMS, Doug, at the workshop. I'll mention one last thing. Over a break earlier today, we were discussing whether or not the consortium would be enthusiastic about getting together in person. If you remember, that's where we're not in Zoom or GatherTown, but actually face to face, sometime maybe in the fall during everyone's no-cost extension. I'm sure some people would be able to and some people wouldn't be able to, but two opportunities that were discussed. One was to have something at MANA, either something formally as part of the program, a workshop or something, or just a social get together. I'm sure that a lot of you will be presenting at MANA up in Alberta, and M3C will poll you all, find out what else is being contributed for the conference anyway. The other possibility, some folks were enthusiastic about, would be to get together at NIH for a day where we would be doing again kind of what we would have been doing at Bethesda for the last 3 days or 2 days, we're in 2 days in Bethesda, if we've been able to pull that off, which is basically trying to get NIH program officers who are not involved in this to come hear about the science and what's been accomplished. So you don't have to give an answer now. We won't poll you right now, but we will poll by email. But if anybody wants to comment about a possible in-person get together sometime in the fall, feel free to speak up.
Or send us a note.
Well, we'll poll you in any case, but if anybody wants to wax poetic about the opportunities now, you could do that in front of everybody for a moment.
How about in Florida in January?
Also possible.
This will bring it to like full circle.
We prefer February. The azaleas are usually out by then. It's really lovely.
I think that's certainly a possibility, is that we could host something here that misses the advantage of being in NIH land and hoping that program officers from other programs will drop by to hear what we've been doing. But certainly the weather in Florida is nice in the winter. Everybody give it some thought, and we'll think about whether one question will be whether you'll have enough money left in your your no-cost extension to cover travel. I wouldn't see this as a big meeting with everybody's teams all getting together as we would in Bethesda or as we did here with posters and stuff, but give some thought to whether that's exciting to you, and we'll poll you about it, and as we plan for what's going to happen during the no-cost extension for coordination and outreach.
We can take people for a hike through Payne's Prairie to see some of the gators, right? So
yeah, but the thing is, in the winter is the alligators move much more slowly, so it's more likely.
Yeah, so you're less likely to get bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other last minute words of wisdom?
But just a question. Can we play in those fountains behind you?
You guys know what that is?
I know what it is.
Yep.
Probably get arrested if you do, but
Yeah, I figured since we were supposed to be in Bethesda, and one of my last trips to Bethesda, I stopped and spent some time down on the mall.
Yep.
At the World War II Memorial. I thought I would make that be my background for today.
Yeah, neat. It's evocative of our mission and what's been accomplished.
Here we go. All right, anybody else? Well, officially, the weekend starts in about 5 minutes. You can tell wherever you work for that that's been officially approved. And so I hope you all have a wonderful weekend for a very short week. Having Monday has been a holiday, now Friday's a holiday too. So take care, everybody.
Okay, take care.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye.